For SUTV News, I'm Grace Schulz. For SUTV9, I'm Grace Schulz. For SUTV News, I'm Grace Schulz. You can go to suu.edu/SUUSA. For SUTV News, I'm Grace Schulz. Areas of the burn scar like this one, along Highway 143, won't see active rehabilitation efforts. However, the popular tourist area Yankee Meadow is already being reseeded and is now open to the public. For SUTV News, I'm Grace Schulz. School won't actually start for Silver Summit students until September 5th, and even when it does, it won't be in this building. Construction isn't due to be complete here until the start of the new year. So until then, these non-traditional students will have classes in a more traditional setting. For KSL 5 News, I'm Grace Schulz. The goal of the program was to instill a sense of conservationism in the students, and for those that live near here, they can come visit their schoolmates all summer. Reporting in Layton, I'm Grace Schulz, KSL 5. It's been 4 months since the start of the Bryan Head fire, and the Parowan Valley is still feeling the burn.
The costs just keep mounting.
I'll tell you, it made a believer out of me, because I thought, oh, this won't be as bad as people have said.
The 71,000-acre fire didn't come anywhere near Parowan, but its effects are being felt by landowners across the valley.
Day after day, we've had to just turn the water down the flood channel because it was too dirty to put into our systems.
The fire caused massive flooding, but the water coming off the burn scar is filled with sediment and ash that isn't usable for irrigation.
Well, there's some people that their whole farm's on the gravity irrigation, so they've had tremendous losses, yield losses.
It will be 3 to 5 years before the forest returns strong enough to prevent floods like the kind that Parowan has seen, but more water coming off the mountain will help farmers in the long run.
There are going to be some positive things. It's going to cost a lot of money to restore the infrastructure.
Within the burn scar itself, rehabilitation is already underway.
So right now we are still doing some of those burial implementations, and we'll soon step into the long-term process.
The Burned Area Emergency Response, or BEAR team, distinguishes between the severity of different burned areas.
You can see the areas that are in red. Those are the areas that are most critical. So those areas don't regrow back as quickly because they were burned so intense. So that's why we're stepping in and helping it out.
The Forest Service has been dropping seed and hay on the most heavily damaged areas while letting Mother Nature take its course in others.
Fire is a natural cycle. We're in a fire-adapted ecosystem. So Mother Nature knows how to take care of herself.
Within the burn scar, the Forest Service is actively reseeding 7,000 acres, about 10% of the total fire.
And it's devastating. It's really sad.
The estimated cost to fight the fire was $40 million, and rehabilitation efforts are expected to add hundreds of thousands to that number. Areas of the burn scar like this one, along Highway 143, won't see active rehabilitation efforts. However, the popular tourist area Yankee Meadow is already being reseeded and is now open to the public. For SUTV News, I'm Grace Schulz. Students coming back to SUU for fall semester noticed a lot of changes on campus. New construction, less parking lots, more food in the student center. One change, however, has gone almost completely unnoticed.
I know nothing about the SUUSA restructure.
Nothing.
I haven't been paying attention, honestly.
I don't think I've even heard of it.
SUU's student government got completely revamped over the summer, all with the goal of increasing student input.
We want students to use My SU Voice so we can see that concern and we can start conversations again. We've kind of lost touch.
As it turns out, though, students don't really see the point of those conversations.
It's probably important, but I haven't looked too much into it.
Nor do they really know what SUUSA does.
I just love the activities that they put on. Those are always fun to go to, so.
Activities are actually put on by the Student Programming Board, an entirely separate branch of the Student Involvement and Leadership Center, but that only changed this summer.
We've taken activities out of student government. We want it to be more of a governing body.
The restructure gives SUUSA far more power and ability to make decisions on behalf of students.
SUUSA has access to the administration, and they're able to pass along that, and SUUSA has a lot of influence on campus.
To account for the increased responsibility, the Senate was expanded from 6 members to 23.
It's a combination of like a straight student government representation model and then a student council model.
SUUSA is now principally responsible for dividing funding to clubs and organizations, and members of SUUSA sit on campus committees for parking, the testing center, and more.
We sit in on these committees that ask us for student voice, student opinion, right? So if we don't know what students want because they don't care, then we're just going to speak on our bias. And
The restructure has made student government much more accessible and transparent.
so you can effectively have qualitative experience with students rather than quantitative.
But so far, except for this student,
really good. I've been talking to a lot of the SUUSA representatives. They've given me a lot more information.
not many people are taking advantage of that.
I couldn't tell the exact things it does for me.
SUUSA holds weekly Senate meetings on Thursdays at 1:30 here in the Sterling Church Auditorium. And if you'd like to find out more information about the restructure, you can go to suu.edu/SUUSA. For SUTV News, I'm Grace Schulz. Hi guys, this is Grace Schulz. I'm outside the KUTV studios with Don Kaufman, the assistant news director. Thank you so much for talking to us. Sure. So, guys, coming up next, we're going to go to Charlotte, who's in Deseret News. Thanks for watching.
People united will never be divided. The people united will never be.
SUU students, faculty, and community members gathered together Saturday morning for a women's march across SUU's campus. Event coordinator Cassandra Plum said the march was a chance for people to express their opinions.
People need to have a place to have an outlet for response to big emotional events like the presidential inauguration and whatever that means to them.
Marchers started at the bell tower and walked across campus holding signs and chanting.
People of our generation need to really show their support and show that they're mindful of these issues.
The march ended on the business quad, where marchers had the chance to express their opinions and their hopes for the future.
Muslims need rights. Christians need rights.
One Trump supporter joined the rally because he said he wanted to see if the march was as inclusive as it claimed.
I found that compared to other things I've gone to, this was probably the one that didn't judge me.
Around 55 people attended SUU's Women's March, which was one of thousands held across the country and the world the day after Donald Trump's inauguration. For SUTV News, I'm Grace Schulz. The world-famous Harlem Globetrotters paid a visit to SUU on Wednesday, treating kids and families to a one-of-a-kind basketball game.
I know you're gonna dig this.
The Globetrotters are a stunt and trick team that plays with the same opponents every game and almost always wins.
Before I got on the team, there hadn't been a woman in 20 years. So I feel really honored that I was able to open that door back up, and now we have 4 women.
Some kids got the chance to meet the Globetrotters before the game, learn how to do tricks, and take photos with the team.
They're awesome. They're awesome.
The Globetrotters traveled the world with their mascot Globey and put a big emphasis on engaging and inspiring kids.
You know, a lot of kids not going to grow up to be 6'5", and so they see me, I give them hope. They say, well, if Too Tall can do it, I can do it. And that puts smiles on my face every day.
The Globetrotters' trip to SUU was no different. They brought audience members out onto the court throughout the game and got the crowd laughing with trick shots and comedy routines. And, like always, they won. For SUTV9, I'm Grace Schulz.
Yeah!